Elon Musk may be preparing to make a massive $100 million donation to Nigel Farage.
Femi, what do we do? How do we stop this?
Yeah, I am terrified. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm terrified. The reason why I'm in politics is to prevent the massive slide towards the far right that began with Brexit. Utterly terrified. But Nigel Farage having access to an extra million is going to be significant in the next election, especially if Keir Starmer doesn't do what's necessary in order to actually improve the lives of working class people, because at the next election, if he doesn't do what's necessary on that front, then people will have lost faith in both Labour and the Conservatives, leaving an open goal to Nigel Farage to simply stroll into Parliament. But my view is Keir Starmer will either pass laws that prevent foreign money interfering in our elections, or he won't. We can campaign to get him to do that, or we can campaign to get him to actually do the stuff that's needed to make people's lives better. Which is why my long-form content over the last few months has been slow since the election, because I've been working on a massive project analysing what Labour has been since the election, so we know what pressure points we need to press in order to avoid that catastrophe of a Nigel Farage Prime Minister. And I'll be putting that out about New Year's, but what you can do right now is have one conversation with at least one person every single week who is outside of your immediate bubble, the people who you'd usually be comfortable talking about politics with, and talk to them about what Nigel Farage has already done to this country. Because we have an advantage in the UK, unlike America, unlike a bunch of other Western countries that are seeing a slide to the right, in that we've already seen the far right's agenda play out. It is Brexit. That was the thing that they said was going to be the savior of working class people, and it has made people poorer. Show them all of these clips and then ask them if they're willing to follow Nigel Farage again.
But what I do think is we haven't actually benefited from Brexit economically. Brexit has failed.
We're getting poor for a variety of reasons, of which Brexit is one. Sometimes you have to take you have to swallow your medicine to get better in the future. So this is maybe a 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plan.
What I'm asked about, are we going to be richer or poorer with Brexit? Do you know what my answer is? What price freedom? What price liberty?
Exactly.
What price our identity?
Exactly.
And these are the arguments, actually, that really matter.
How long do you reckon it'll take until we actually got self-sufficient, so we wouldn't actually rely on that trade with the EU? 5 years, 10 years, 20 years?
Who knows? I'm not in the farming industry.
Okay, but I mean, there would definitely be a gap between a no-deal Brexit as proposed by the Reform Party and however long it takes for us to get that. So in that time, we'd have made food significantly more expensive before we can actually make our own.
Sometimes you have to take a little pain with some things for it to work.
Should Elon Musk be allowed to donate £100 million to Nigel Farage? Well, the billionaire thinks Farage will be Britain's next Prime Minister, and it's been reported that he's considering a huge donation to Reform UK. Farage himself has said he has absolutely no idea whether Musk is planning the donation, but the reports have sparked conversations on whether UK donation rules need tightening. Foreigners are not allowed to make donations into UK politics, but there are loopholes. If Musk did want to donate, he could do so through the UK wing of his social media company X. But ministers are now being urged to close all loopholes. Calls are growing for Labour to limit individual and corporate donations to political parties to £100,000 a year. Labour did promise in its manifesto to tighten donation rules, but doing so now could result in Musk going for Labour even more than he has been. The billionaire hasn't commented on the reports, but Farage said it would be great to receive the donation. Keir Starmer's spokesperson said the government is looking forward to working with Donald Trump's new team, of which Musk is a part. And a number 10 source suggested a cap on donations is not a priority.
You know, the big difference with Trump's campaign in 2024 compared to 2016, it was so much more professional. It was completely different. There was an atmosphere of calm at Mar-a-Lago over the course of the last 18 months, despite everything that he was being put through. You know, Susie Wiles had been put in there. She'd given it authority. She'd given it direction. It was a completely different campaign. They go in on the 20th of January into the White House, and he's got the power to appoint 3,000 people to positions. They've been working on those people for the last 18 months. I've seen what professionalising the campaign did for Trump, and it was a big success. And the reason I've got people like Zia now working for me is that's exactly not what we're going to do, It's what we are doing now with this party. And two other quick points on Trump, if I can. One, it wasn't just Donald Trump they were voting for. Yes, he was the towering figure, but on one side was Robert F. Kennedy, on the other side was Elon Musk. He presented a much broader front than just the one man to the American people, and that's very much what I want to do with reform. You know, this is not going to be a one-man band just with me at the front. You're going to see well, you're seeing a couple of them today, prominent figures that'll be up there. What he also did was put together a remarkable coalition of voters, you know, with a big rise in the black vote for Trump, an even bigger rise in the Hispanic vote for Trump. And I'll just leave you with this thought, that in the last general election, more members of what they call the BAME community voted Reform than voted Liberal Democrat. And I think you're going to be very surprised when you see the coalition of people that we put together.